What if right now, in this very moment, your life was already being rewritten? Not by luck. Not by effort. But by something ancient. Something divine. A force older than time itself that has quietly chosen you. Don't scroll past this. Because the moment you're in is not random. It's rare. And those who recognize it, those who feel the vibration in their chest and stay, they're the ones who step through the door others never see. Lately, you felt the shift. The air around you has changed. The tension between where you are, and where you know you're supposed to be, has grown louder. You've been waking up heavier, haven't you? Not just tired, but stretched. Like your spirit is trying to expand beyond the walls of your current life. And maybe it's felt like chaos. Like delays, setbacks, unexpected pauses. But what if those weren't roadblocks, but repositionings? What if the silence was the sound of something gathering? A blessing being assembled in the shadows. And right now, at this exact point in time, without your permission, without your planning, something has started moving toward you. Not with noise. But with divine precision. It's not obvious yet. It's not loud. But it's close. So close that your old habits can feel it and are panicking. So close that your fears are beginning to sabotage your focus. But hold steady. Because the universe is never early. And it is never late. This, right here, is the sacred in-between. The spiritual eye of the storm. And very soon, something is going to be revealed, something powerful. Something you've been unknowingly calling in. But before you're shown the key, you must prove one thing. That you're ready to receive it. Stay with this message. Because the door is about to open. And when it does, you will never be the same. You've been standing at the edge of something invisible. A thin veil separates the life you know, from the life that's about to begin. Not everyone reaches this place. But you have. And that means one thing, you were chosen for more. Lately, you felt strange nudges, like time is bending around you. Plans fall through, doors close, familiar people drift away. It's not random. It's spiritual rearrangement. You're not being rejected, you're being redirected. Because the old version of you can't survive what's about to arrive. Something sacred is pulling you forward. And the weight you feel? That's not pressure, it's preparation. Your blessings are building momentum. But they will not descend into a life that isn't ready to hold them. That's why everything around you feels unsettled. You are being stretched to make room. You are being emptied to be filled with something far more powerful. Still, you wonder, when? When does it finally change? But the truth is, it already has. The shift didn't start when you saw results. It started when you stayed faithful in silence. Every tear you cried when no one was watching. It watered the soil for what's about to bloom. Every time you held your head high while your heart was breaking. It trained you for overflow. You're not being ignored by the universe, you're being initiated by it. You've been called to a new frequency. A new rhythm. And right now, something deep inside you is rising. Not ambition, alignment. Not noise, knowing. And it's telling you to get ready. Because soon, a moment will come. A moment unlike anything you've felt before. A phrase will be given to you. A phrase that unlocks the gates. But not yet. You must feel the energy gathering first. Let the suspense break the shell around your old life. Because when the next part arrives, everything will change. There comes a point in every spiritual journey, where waiting is no longer enough. Where faith demands a voice. Where destiny stops knocking, and starts requiring a command. You've reached that point. And everything you felt, every delay, every ache, every whisper in the night, has led you here. Right now, the unseen is listening. The energy around you is bending in your direction. But it cannot move, until you move. It cannot respond, until you speak. This moment holds a power most people never access. Because they wait for proof before they believe. But you remember. You've always known there was more. Even when the bills piled up. Even when the doors stayed shut. Even when your reflection couldn't see it yet, your spirit knew. And now, the universe is asking one question. Are you ready to receive? Not hypothetically. Not someday. Now. This isn't about deserving. It's about aligning. This isn't about working harder. It's about allowing more. And there is one phrase, one vibration, that tells the entire cosmos you are open. Say it with breath. Say it with fire. Say it like the gates of your future swing on the sound of your voice. I receive. Feel it echo in your chest. Let it vibrate through your ribs like a sacred drum. Say it again, not softly, but with certainty. I receive. Not because you're perfect. Because you're positioned. Not because you have proof. Because you have permission. From this point forward, the spiritual world recognizes you differently. Your energy has shifted. The code has been entered. And now, the flow begins. It won't come all at once. It will arrive in whispers. A refund you didn't expect. A message that opens a door. A thought that won't leave you alone, pulling you toward your next move. Don't ignore them. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. And every time you speak those words again, I receive, you accelerate the current. You widen the gate. You allow wealth, peace, and opportunity to find you without resistance. Because provision doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to expectation. This is your moment of alignment. Say it once more. I receive. The door is now open. And what comes next, will feel like fate finally catching up with your faith. Something is happening. You may not see it yet, but if you're quiet enough, you can feel it. The air has changed. Time feels different now. And if you've spoken the words, if your spirit has opened, then know this. The current has shifted. You've entered the frequency of fulfillment. And the universe has started its dance. Not with lightning. Not with noise. But with stillness, and surprising precision. You'll notice it in strange places. A payment clears earlier than expected. A call comes from someone you haven't spoken to in years. An idea flashes in your mind, and won't leave. These are not random. They're not luck. They're the fingerprints of divine orchestration. Because once you align, life stops resisting you. People start helping you without knowing why. Doors open that no resume could ever touch. Resources gather, not because you chased them. But because you became the magnet. This is where trust becomes your weapon. Because sometimes, blessings arrive dressed like inconvenience. An interruption that turns into a breakthrough. A delay that reveals your next direction. An obstacle that opens the gate you didn't know existed. And only those who are tuned in will recognize it. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to doubt your worth. You didn't come this far to question the flow now. You are not being teased by the universe, you're being taught how to walk in overflow. One nudge at a time. So follow them. The urge to send that email. Follow it. The inner pull to revisit an old idea. Obey it. The whisper that says, go there, try again, speak up, that's the divine current guiding you. And the more you move in faith, the faster the blessings chase you. Because energy only flows where there is movement. And you, my friend, have moved. Your posture has changed. Your heart is no longer bracing for impact, it's preparing for increase. And that, right there, is everything. The difference between surviving and thriving is not how hard you push. It's how open you stay. So stay open. Stay watchful. Stay light on your feet like a warrior sensing the wind shift before battle. Because what's coming? It's not small. It's not safe. It's something you prayed for in silence. And now it's arriving with strategy. And just when you think you've seen the full picture, the universe will whisper again. You haven't seen anything yet. It's happening. Not just around you, but within you. There's a soft crackle in your spirit, a quiet, rising fire. And for the first time in a long time, you're not just hoping, you're expecting. That's the shift. Because faith without expectation is just fantasy. But when belief becomes embodiment, the entire world bends around your vibration. You used to brace for disappointment. Now, you're preparing for overflow. Look at how different your energy is. You walk lighter. You speak clearer. You decide faster. Why? Because you're no longer begging the universe to notice you. You've realized, the universe has already chosen you. And now, it's watching your posture. It's watching how you carry the promise before it arrives. Because wealth doesn't just flow to the gifted, it flows to the ready. That's why alignment matters more than hustle. You could have all the talent in the world. But if your spirit is set to scarcity, you'll never hold the harvest. You have to become a container big enough to catch the rain. And that means clearing space. Not just on your calendar, but in your mind. In your beliefs. In your nervous system. Fear keeps your hands clenched. Expectation opens them wide. You've been taught to prepare for the worst. But what if you prepared for provision instead? What if you organized your life, not around what you lack, but around what's already on the way? That's not delusion. That's divine readiness. Every morning, ask yourself. Does my energy match the wealth I've prayed for? Would my habits protect the blessing, or drain it? Would I know what to do if abundance knocked on my door tonight? Because if the answer is no, don't wait. Shift. Tidy your thoughts. Speak as if the deal is done. Move as if the contract is signed. Smile like the bank account already reflects your truth. That's how overflow arrives, not just by asking, but by acting like you've already received. Because here's the mystery most people miss. You're not waiting on money. Money is waiting on you. It's circling above, scanning the earth for those who carry the frequency of ready. And now, it's found you. So keep preparing. Not in stress. But in stillness. Not in panic. But in peace. Because the harvest doesn't come to the frantic. It comes to the faithful. And you, right now, are becoming magnetic. Every blessing brings a battle. And the moment you stepped into alignment, the resistance noticed. Not to destroy you, but to test you. Because overflow is not just given. It's guarded. And if you're not prepared, you'll sabotage what you once begged for. This is spiritual warfare. Not with swords, but with standards. Not with noise, but with focus. Now that your energy is rising, scarcity will try to pull you back down. It won't show up loudly, it will whisper. Be careful. Don't dream too big. What if it all disappears? It will wear the mask of logic. But it's fear. Old patterns will resurface, not because they're strong, but because you're shifting. You'll feel the urge to shrink. To explain yourself. To play small so others feel comfortable. Don't. You weren't given this favor to dim it. You were given it to steward it. And that means building walls, not to keep people out, but to keep your frequency in. Guard your mornings like sacred ground. Speak only what aligns with abundance. Audit your circle. Silence the voices that plant doubt where you've planted faith. Not everyone can go where you're headed. Not every conversation deserves your energy. Because distraction is expensive. And drama is a luxury you can no longer afford. You're not just manifesting a blessing. You're maintaining a legacy. This is the part most never talk about. How wealth without wisdom collapses. How favor without discipline fades. You must walk differently now. Speak like your words shape reality, because they do. Give like the supply is infinite, because it is. Work like the universe is watching, because it is. Because the more you honor the flow, the more it multiplies. But if you let fear back in, if you stop protecting your peace, you'll feel the current weaken. And that's your cue, not to panic, but to anchor. Anchor yourself in truth. In clarity. In the divine rhythm that got you here. Because it wasn't luck. It was law. And laws respond to alignment. So when resistance rises, you rise higher. You remember who you are. You protect the gate. And you speak the phrase louder than the noise. I receive. Not just the blessing. But the strength to hold it. The vision to multiply it. The discipline to protect it. Because you're not just a vessel now. You've become a guardian of abundance. And nothing can touch what you were born to carry, unless you let it in. So hold the line. Stay in the rhythm. And remember, this isn't just overflow. This is your empire beginning. Stand still for a second. Feel this moment. It's not just the end of a message. It's the beginning of a new identity. You're not waiting anymore. You're not hoping, wondering, bargaining. You've crossed over. And now, you are the frequency. Overflow isn't just around you. It's within you. Everything has changed. The old version of you, the one who played small, who doubted their worth, who waited for permission, has been left behind. Buried. Released. Burned in the fire of your own becoming. And in its place stands a being of clarity. Of vision. Of divine power. You're no longer knocking on doors. You are the door. The one others will come to for wisdom, for provision, for breakthrough. Not because you have it all figured out. But because you stayed faithful when nothing made sense. Because you moved when it was dark. Because you spoke, I receive, even when your hands were still empty. And now, they are not. Now you carry legacy. Now you command wealth, not as a trophy, but as a tool. Now your words build bridges for others to walk across. You are the miracle someone else has been praying for. You are the evidence that the universe rewards trust. That divine timing is never late. And that when the inner world aligns, the outer world obeys. So what do you do now? You live as if overflow is your standard. You walk as if destiny follows your footsteps. You speak as if heaven listens. You give as if lack never knew your name. And when the old thoughts try to creep back in, when scarcity knocks, when fear rises, when shadows return, you already know what to say. Not just as a phrase, but as a command. As a declaration from the depths of your being. I receive. Say it again. Say it until the air shifts. Say it until your cells remember. Say it until you no longer recognize the person who used to wait. You're not that person anymore. You are chosen. You are trusted. You are ready. And because you are ready, it is done.